into our best of one Heilung Fjord Grom vs Hyperborea. Let's see what the lineups look like. We do have Hyperborea on the defense here. They're running out a lot of Claymores. Claymores getting that recent buff, making them quite a bit stronger, but are they over preparing here? That's a lot of Claymores, if I do say so. Grom looking pretty standard. Bringing a cannon unit's definitely very interesting from the Grom side here, but other than that, they do have a Hellet as well. I wonder if we will see any fast pushes with that, or if they have a defense hold comp. Doesn't look like they are. It looks like Grom's comps are very fast. They want to go in. The cannon is a little bit confusing with the comps that they are running, but we'll see how that really pans out. Or Hyperborea having a little bit of a just kind of hold there, and then have the Liaos kind of clean up. Also the Claymores maybe as well. I think I'd give the edge. It's kind of hard to tell which exactly off of comp would be winning this fight here. I think Hyperborea might have a little bit more of an edge, just be on the defender side, but we do know that because attackers have 2 artillery, it does favor them a little bit more. So it's just by composition wise, could go either way. I don't think there's any advantage besides maybe the cannon player, but the cannon with it looked like a very heavy push comp. This could be a little interesting. Let's get into the free cam. I didn't look at hero classes. Let's look at hero classes real quick as we go through this. It does look like the side of red team has 6 bastard swords compared to the side of blue team having 9 bastard swords. They had 3 on each page. So unless this is just not rotating, I'm being bad. I'm pressing the wrong key binding. G. My bad, guys. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, it does look like blue side will have. Also, already a Hyperborea player goes down. I missed it there as I was going through the pages there. Already losing a Hyperborea member. Very crazy to be going down right there. It looks like we have a little bit of a push here. Red team breaking, Grom breaking the breach side there. Let's look at the units. Looking like many people are not using those green units, but a lot of purples brought by Hyperborea. Grom player does go down. Don't know what he got sniped by, but he will go down there as we are just waiting. As Grom has position 6.5 minutes on the clock. It's plenty of time here to do this artillery phase, but what is their artillery going to be trying to find here? Maybe the grape shot on above the gate, maybe the Zycalian militia. Have they gone in? They did get some of the Vipers. Half the unit is down. Doesn't look like they have found the Zycalian militia. Also, another Grom player goes down. Where are these people dying that they just keep going down? I don't get it, but we'll see exactly how that really pans out later in the game. They have a claimant comment on the wall will get broken by the mortars. Doesn't look like that comment was able to find any of the mortars, but does find a few of the stalwarts. Yes, at least this is the first match of tonight, and then we will have a long break till the next match. Again, Grom's still doing this artillery phase. They aren't really finding that much. These Zycalian militia still not found anywhere. Hyperborea doesn't really have the units up here to stop a push. The cats are fighting. These damn cats. But you have not missed any match yet. This is the first match. Hell, it has been built on the side of Grom, so there will be a push coming in soon here. Everyone's gathering up on the Hellet buff as they push in through the gateway here. Looks like, will they be going up the wall? It does look like they are thinking about it. They are in fact going up the wall as they are doing a breach push as well. It's going to be very hard for me to cover both sides here. I'll go about here just to give you a perspective of kind of everything that's happening here. Hopefully this gets something. Does look like they are getting stopped at that breach. Doesn't look like the breach push will be successful, getting stopped by those triple stalwarts, but their gate push will be successful and it will get full control over the wall. Looks like they are pushing through, maybe going to go all the way to breach. They do reclaim the top artillery. They're gaining that flaming comet. Looks like they're a little bit stopped here, getting a little bit poked by the Zycalian militia, kind of just letting it happen. A little bit too aggressive there. Grom does, Banshee does get into the Zycalian militia, killing basically the entire no, actually 9 are still alive there, so he will not be able to get most of them. But looks like a musket is able to hit a few more of them, down to 8 models there. Grom trying to push down into claiming the space here. Maybe a little bit too aggressive. Their units running out of units. They had a lot of units there, but now they are kind of faded. They still have those Zycalian militia, but they do get a big mortar hit by Hyperborea onto those Zycalian militia, and it will go down to 7 models of Zycalian militia there. Ratan pikes into this brawl. Does look like both sides have lost their infantry as Grom does another small kind of 1-by-1 push into the gate. They have a stalwart just kind of alone here. And they're kind of lingering at that campfire area. Let's see if they get much here. Grom initiating the stalwart versus stalwart, shoots a dinger coming in. Doesn't look like it will really heal much, but it just does shoot something. Liao's versus Liao's win. Good job there. Let's clean up some of the claymores there. Amazing job by the Liao's. And again, Liao's are just meeting Liao's as the Liao's just do amazing things. Grom now getting their anti-cav onto the point does catch the Liao units. They are no longer able to do anything. As we have Gladius going around with his own Liao's. Looking pretty rough for Hyperborea here, as Grom has now gotten a good setup on this A point. Plenty of infantry, plenty of cav. It's kind of lacking in anti-cav. They only have the 1 modal here, and we did know that Hyperborea brought a lot of Liaos, so we will see how they are able to get back into this. Does look like now Grom is starting the capture point, but they have the flaming comets there to stop any of Hyperborea from coming back in here. It does look like Hyperborea is going to be dropping this A point as we go into the B and C. Right here, good job by Grom there, 800 to 967, so a little close on the units there, 150 unit differential. It doesn't look like they are going towards B at all. It does look like they have 1 person on their last life compared to Hyperborea not having anybody on their... Oh, they do have 1 person on their last life as well. So each team having a person on their last life. Actually, Grom having 2 people on their last life there. Guys, I can't tell what you're saying in chat. I can't speak that language. I am display capturing. Let's disable that before that causes some problems. There we go. Hyperborea giving the harbor away to Grom here. Grom also not capturing that B point yet, instead favoring just getting set up on the harbor side. I am kind of surprised they are not sending anybody to deal with B or just start capturing C. This is a lot of time that they are just kind of leaving on the board, not getting. Once again, we see, just like in Lions vs Warriors, the artillery spam from the attacker sides into this supply point fight. Purple Mortar is able to basically hit this entire supply point. Doesn't look like they are able to get up to this special barrage that Hyperborea has set up here. Hyperborea is able to return fire with their own mortars, so it'll be a little bit hard for Grom to really apply any true pressure here. Does get a good mortar shot on those stalwarts there, but only killing around 4 of them. So not as much damage as you would love to see. I'm just kind of chilling, waiting, doing their artillery phase. They do send 1 person to go capture that B point. I'd be surprised if Hyperborea sends anybody to deal with it, but they probably know that there's a chance that it's just 1 guy, so maybe they do send somebody to go deal with it. Once again, artillery phase happening. Doesn't look like they will find... Doesn't look like Grom's going to be able to find too much here. They have found a few units, again, getting a good hit on those stalwarts. Those stalwarts getting a beating, but they just walk back to the supply and heal back up to full. Nothing really. They're not too bothered by getting hit by those mortars. 2.5 minutes on the clock, but Grom does still have that B and C point to capture, so they're probably not too worried about what's happening here, but I definitely think I would be starting to worry a little bit here. But there is a good amount of snowball when it comes to getting that supply and then going towards home. Let's go over and see what units they have. Oh, this guy lost all of his units already. Doesn't look like Grom still has their cannons remaining. Not get there, and they do have about 5 units of cav, so not that much cav remaining. We're on the side of Hyperborea. They still have around the same amount of cav Grom, so in terms of cav fight, it's about the same. Also, a little scrimmage happening up here. There was a scrimmage happening up there, but I was just a little bit too slow to really see it and capture it. Does look like we are having a little bit of a death match up here. Good old chokehold on the bastard sword. Will he be able to find Grom V there? Doesn't look like they're able to find a Hyperborea. Trying to find a pick, does not find it, but they will be able to. Maybe they will be able to escape. Still doing a little bit of deathmatch here. One person at that quarter HP. Does look like they are able to peel for their friends and get them out of the fight. 5 minutes on the clock. Definitely a little bit low on time here at this point for Grom to make a push here. It's going to be very scary. They got about 2 pushes in there. They do have the units for 2 pushes, but I think I would like more time or more units if I wanted to be pushed. But they are now starting to push up the bridge while they have 2 people go to that home area. Get a little bit of a camera there so that we can see exactly how that's going on. It does look like Grom is actually fully on there, and we're going to pivot to just staring at this supply fight. Shoots a Diener, already pre-healing the Blah. Doesn't look like I'll get too much there. As the engagement hits the shields, Hyperborea with the claymores will stop a lot of the damage from happening immediately there. But Grom has these Spartans pushing into those towers. Not really much follow-up from Grom into there. Now Hyperborea also has the Flaming Comet, getting good damage. Looking kind of rough for Hyperborea. It looks like they still have a lot of units. They do have this death ball of stalwarts in the corner. It does look like it was able to push back out and keep Grom out of there. The stalwart Sam was just too much for Grom to handle. Hyperborea maintains their supply, and they also killed the home push as well. Still have that Spartan unit on the supply there. Doesn't look like it will be able to do much, and it will fall down. Stripe comes in, doesn't find too much value. We've got a little bit of a Modao fighting Modao moment over here, but now Hyperborea rotates their stalwarts in and cleans it up. 3 minutes on the clock. Grom looking pretty rough here. Does look like they are going for this once again a split push here. You'll see exactly how it works this time. The first split push didn't work too well in their favor. Unfortunately, those stalwarts and that stalwarts fan just got them down. Also bringing out the cannons now. Finally bringing them out, but we only have 340 units remaining, so I don't see how these cannons are going to do too much. Also, quite a bit of heroes over here. Hyperborea not rotating anybody. The camp starts happening here. The cannons immediately dove by the mall and will find the entire unit before the cannons even gets to deploy one set of cannons. Hyperborea clearing up this point, finally getting the rotation in, realizing, hey, there's quite a few guys on our home point. Let's just clean that up real quick here. And this looks like Hyperborea will be the victors on Halo Fjord. I'm down to 179 units. It's going to be very hard for them to get back in onto this point. As now Hyperborea is probably thinking of doing a little bit of a sally, and they are in fact sallying and sending those Liaos into the Rattan pikemen and into the Sirs and the Stalwarts, as the Liaos just absolutely farm Grom. Good job by Hyperborea. So go here. Grom is leaving. Looks like a lot of them are on their third death. They did finally full die out, or Hyperborea only having those 2 people, actually 3 people on their last life. Still playing a lot of their life there. Guys, I can't understand if you speak another language. Say it's English. Do have that last set of Liaos out. It does look like it got fired by the stalwarts. And my spectator bugged. I'm going to hope and pray that this fixes itself in a minute. Because if it doesn't fix itself in a minute, we're going to have to go to another stream to get our post-battle stats here. We just go to Denitex, because I know the Denitex is streaming. Denitex has a 3-minute delay. Unfortunate. We'll never know who won. True. We will never know who would have won this match. Honestly, it was a close match. It could have gone either way. But this is probably true. We can all agree that Hyperborea did win this matchup. Okay, it's full bugged. Give me the stat screen. Give me the stat screen. Give me the stat screen, please. The game ended. Give me the stat screen. That's the joke. Yes, that was the joke. Oh, I did not get the stat screen. This is... And it's gone. Oh. Ew. I'm gonna go surf around to see if any of the other streamers got the stats screen. Because that is quite important for us. They are not at. Then attack's going good. Attack's still going. It's my stats screen. For those of you that I could go into the replay, quite literally not an option. This was a Hyperborea win. I believe we have... No, it bugged for everybody. Everybody got the spectator bug to where we didn't get any stat screen. That is unfortunate, but this will be a Hyperborea win. Definitely sucks for us not getting those post-battle stats by anybody. Unfortunately, spectator just a little bit buggy there. For everybody, there is going to be now the 35-minute break. Wait, hold on. Getting information. Yes. There will be about 35 minutes before our next match begins. So there will be quite a while, but before we go over that, we can kind of go over that previous match here once my Twitch decides it wants to also load. Man, okay, we are tech issuing. Also, now I gotta see what the hell these Russians were saying in my chat while I go to Google Translate. No idea. Mm-hmm. Mm. They're just saying that they have taken over the chat. God damn it. Okay. Let's go into our post-battle analysis, because I do that. Yeah. Alright. I got it up here. Let's go into our post-battle analysis. Hold on, let me make sure that Discord isn't in a spot where it's going to show something egregious. Actually, you're getting the window capture. I don't trust display capture here. Yeah. Yeah. Bam. Let's go over the comps real quick. As you can see, comp-wise, Hyperborea has a lot more of that old hold composition, where the stalwarts hold, and then they have their DPS be the claymores, and then we have Liaos as our cleanup. A fairly common kind of strategy there with the stalwarts DPS unit plus Cav to clean up. Or on the side of Grom, they do run a lot of Spartans, and Spartans are really good into this, but it doesn't seem like they had the DPS infantry to really handle it as well as they would like. They do have those Reapers in there, but those Reapers were just apparently not enough of a damage unit, especially against the Claymores. Claymores having a lot higher burst than the Reapers. Reapers wanting it to do a little bit more of that sustain fight, where the Claymores really wanted to get that burst damage in. And you can see how these fights kind of went on, where Hyperborea kind of stalled out, and then their Claymores bursted through, giving the Claymores a lot of time to recover from the damage that they took. So these Claymores bought a lot of time, especially with Claymores giving the 35% damage mitigation for that entire blob fight. It didn't seem like Grom really favored the Claymores as much as Hyperborea did. As we go into kind of these host battles, also Grom took quite a few deaths here, maybe getting sniped by ballistas or something. I don't know how 02 died there. There's no artillery that I can see, but they just died to a ghost. Let's go over the first push here, as they do a split push. Grom does a split push, and you can kind of see by this distribution of units. We don't really know what's under the A bridge there, but we have a Spartan Stalwart Reaper, and then I believe the Wuxing Pikemen go in there, compared to 3 Stalwarts on that bridge side. As good as like a Spartan and a... Oh, this is double Reaper. Oh, we sent 5 units to 3? We lost that? Well, I don't know how Grom lost the... Zycalian Militia. You can kind of see where that specialty plays a big part in how these fights go. Where Hyperborea has the specialty at that breach side, but they do not have the specialty at the gate side, where Grom does have the specialty at the gate side. Those Zycalian Militia lowering armor penetration by 72% makes it incredibly hard for things to do any amount of damage. And then Zycalian Militia also just doing a good amount of damage themselves there. Not having anybody go dive for the Zykes. You can see they just kind of stay there the entire time, get all their volleys off, probably run out of ammo. But you can see where Grom kind of handily wins this gate push, but they heavily lose the breach push, even though if there was no Zycalians by Hyperborea, Grom probably would have gotten in there and done great things. This rotation over here, it looks like Grom has like a lot of units, but as the fight went on, it didn't seem like they lasts as long. Stalwart goes in there. Wow, that Stalwart just vanished. What happened? Cycalian goes in on them. Stalwart goes down the stairs. Mortar hits in. All those Stalwarts are gone. Okay. Good dive by Vinci and Vince and Benchi here to try to get the Cycalian militia. It doesn't look like they were able to find it. This is where having a flame shackle short sword just thunderstruck the Cycalians and leave would have been great there. Flame shackle just instantly killing quite literally every single Coco that you could ever hope to kill, or at the very least get it down to low. And as you can see, like, Grom had quite a few units before they did this push down, but now all their units are gone. And they're trying to do a little bit of a fight here. They do have the Cycalian at that breach doing amazing throws, but they do get center mortar hit, which then forces the Zyke player to retreat, going down to 7 Zykes. They weren't ever pressured by heroes, but that mortar pressure is enough to get them to move off of that breach and go get ammo. A little bit of a stall fighting happening in that campfire area. I guess trying to minimize the true losses happening there. A little bit weird by Grom having this lone stalwart fight 2 stalwarts. Potentially a little bit too aggressive there. His team is not there to back him up. So he does, but does do great things, but you can see that these Liaos just get into the back of them, instantly clear them. Granted, they do trade Liao to Liao there, but that stalwart kind of just gave his life for really nothing, maybe to get some pressure out there. God damn it, don't speak in Russian. I have to Google Translate every single time you guys speak. Hold on. What did this guy say to me? Greetings, doctor. As you can see, this push in, this is very much a trickle effect. You can see we got a blob here, we got a blob here, we got someone over here. Grom is kind of trickling in, and this does work towards their favor because Hyperborea does not have the units really here either. They just have these stalwarts holding the line, so they don't have that many units, but it is still very risky to doing this trickle. As you can see, they had a lot of units here, but the stalwart spam does a lot. In fact, I believe Grom's Gladius here, these Liaos getting into the back of Hyperborea truly won the A point for them. If it wasn't for those Liaos getting into the back of those stalwarts, I actually think that Grom might have lost, because those stalwarts were not dying. Grom doesn't really have, as you can see here, they don't really have the infantry to push in to the triple stalwart. Let's go back a few seconds here. You can see there is a Reaper here, but that Reaper doesn't last that long, especially with that many stalwarts there blocking all the damage that the Reapers can try to do. They do place a comet, so that they would have eventually whittled down the Reapers, I mean the stalwarts, but it just would have taken a lot longer, which Hyperborea would have been able to reinforce at this point a lot quicker, well not quicker, but a lot more confidently if those Liaos did not go into the back of their stalwarts. Good Liaos trying to come in. Hyperborea realizes, hey, this point is lost, let's not trade any more units to them. Great call by Hyperborea, getting their units out of the fight, realizing, hey, we don't want to trade anymore. Grom is completely set up on this point here. As you can see, there is a modal at the B bridge area, and then there's a modal at the C bridge area. So it'd be very hard to get our cav into there. Really, all we can do is send cav, so we do not want to trade our cav for quite literally no value. Like, we're not going to get that much value. So amazing call by Hyperborea, realizing that the point is lost. Even with 2.5 minutes on the clock, they're like, we don't think we can win this point. We'll just win at a further back point. Amazing call by Hyperborea, as then Grom proceeds to go to harbor. Now, I do know a lot of teams like to defend this harbor point, pushing out and making sure the attackers don't get harbor. And And judging by Hyperborea's comp here, right, they do have the 2 units of Modal, but they don't really have that great of a pushing comp. They have more of a you come into us, we will kill you composition with their stalwarts and their claymores and their Modal. They're not that great of pushing into them. They want to be pushed to. They also have the Viper and the Shoot Stinger. So great mindset there. Then we go to artillery phase. This artillery phase lasts quite a while here. Let's go over the pre-diagnostic of this artillery phase. We have 809 units by Grom with 967 units by Hyperborea. By the end of this artillery phase, Hyperborea lost around 30 units, where Grom lost 50? I already forgot the numbers that I said. Grom lost more units than Hyperborea did, so not that great of an artillery phase by Grom, actually kind of losing those trades in that exchange. As we go into this supply fight here, you can see the death dot of stalwarts by Hyperborea here, keeping that area kind of hard to push through. I wish that I could stream in 5K or 4K instead of 1080 60, but unfortunate. You can see there this double stalwart claymore and then having the Zycalian militia. Again, Grom not diving those Zycalian militia, where these Zycalian militia are doing amazing work doing that support. As Grom, you see that they're trying their hardest to push into this death dot of Spartans, but it's 20 minutes for the next game to start. As you see, the Spartans do get through the death dot of stalwarts there, but at this point you can see Grom doesn't have the units to really capitalize on that Spartan walk. They do have some people coming in from the left into Hyperborea, but now with Grom's main attack force kind of already executed, demolished, and destroyed, they are able to freely rotate back to this side area and not have to worry too much about it. They did try a little bit of split there. We did see that the Grom did try to send 2 poleaxes, I believe it was. Let's go back a bit. They do send 2 poleaxes of Bastard Sword up to that home point, but you can kind of see here, Hyperborea has 2 Bastard Swords. They have the Yorkist, they have a Liao there. Even with the Grom's own Modal, 2 Bastard Swords can easily stun that entire unit. The Yorks can dismount and kill the Modal. It would be very hard having for Grom to really win that trade where Hyperborea was there. Also, not having your poleaxes for this supply fight, really would have liked to see a weapon dance or 2. They did have the they do have the 1 poleaxe in there to get that weapon dance, and the other second poleaxe goes and dives the Zycalian militia. Great job getting the Zycalian militia down, but at this point it was too late into the fight to really kill those Kokos. It's still good to kill them, but it's a little bit too little too late, where they already lost that fight. And by this point, you're down to 400 units versus 800 units. Really all you can do is a desperation push into the defenders there, trying to find literally anything, and it is a pretty good desperation. Having cannons though as your desperation push, a little rough. Would have loved to see the cannons be brought maybe for the A point there, for that kind of fight, maybe running a slower comp cannons, but also cannons when comments are available is kind of hard to do. You can see that Grom has like a lot of heroes here into Hyperborea, but they do have that Modal they have double Bastard Sword, short sword, so plenty of survivability there. And Grom doesn't really have the units to do too much. The Spartans do walk the Modao, so the Modao are out of the field, but the Yorkists dismount, kill the Cocos, and then sprint into the Modao, killing them handily. And at this point, Grom needed to clear that point 3 minutes ago in order to really be able to do any kind of capture progress, as Hyperborea was able to rotate back. And that would be the game where Hyperborea wins. Oh. And now we only have 19 minutes for the next match to start instead of 29 minutes. I did my job of stalling. Unfortunately here, we were not able to get the post-game analysis, those post-battle stats. Kind of unfortunate by the replay system breaking. But what can you do, really? So long between matches. This is how the captains decided. The captains made their spots, and this is what we have to deal with. We could kind of go over some post-battle stats here, where we scroll through. Because I do scroll through everybody, so that is something that I can kind of do. We could kind of make some judges here. Grom MVP probably going to that guy with 139 unit kills. Grom Design, great job by Grom Design getting 139 unit kills. Though they do have a few people at 100 or above, though they do have a few people below 30, which is probably not helping them compared to the Hyperborea side having Berserker at 150 unit kills. Puritanian 160, an encounter with 170. Hyperborea just having those players having their highest of highs just a little bit higher and their lowest of lows a little bit higher as well compared to Grom.